The single most important thing we're going to do as real estate professionals in 2021 is we're going to figure out how to find the next listing in your community. We need to discover how to find what I refer to as the high probability sellers in your community and to create a campaign directly to them so that you can get that listing appointment, and or you can go back into a community on the buyer that you just wrote an offer on over list price and you got beat out. So this is probably the most important training session I'm going to do with you guys this year. So hold on and let's get to work. There's two things I need to cover with you. Number one is, how do I define what a high probability seller is? And we're going to look at the qualities and characteristics of that because I need you, the hyper-local expert in the community, to actually be able to identify your trends in your marketplace. You need to identify the patterns in your marketplace. Now, most of you know that there's been companies out there called SmartZip, there's offers.com. A lot of title reps are saying, hey, we can tell you the most likely to sell. I think Remine has a most likely to sell. I don't know about you guys. All of those companies, all of those data sets have been complete crap. And they've been a complete waste of money and waste of time. Now, why is that? That's what I'm going to share with you right now, because they don't understand what you understand as the hyper-local expert in the community. And they never can and they never will. So here's our advantage. Let's dig in. I'm going to give you the 5 qualities and characteristics. Then I'm going to give you the tool to go find them and then to go communicate with them so that you can get all the listings that you want in 2021. So let's have some fun. I want you to write down that phrase, high probability seller, with a question mark. And I want you to go, okay, here's a community that you live in. What is the high probability seller? And there's 5 qualities that you need to write down. Number 1, the psychographic. Now hold on, the psychographic. Really all I'm saying is the reason why. If you take a look at the last 15 listing appointments that you went on or the last 15 sellers that you talked to, what was the reason why they were doing this? And is there any pattern in there? Oh, all of my sellers are doing this. If they're in this age bracket, they're doing that. The ones that have this type of property, they do this. People are doing that. People are doing this, right? That's it. This is what we need to pay attention to. So the psychographic is the reason why. The next step is the demographic. Demographic meaning what stage of life are they in? Right now we have a ton of move up buyers, which we can also refer to as first-time sellers. Oh, so there's a demographic, first-time sellers. They bought a home, in 2010 to 2016, and they're a younger age bracket. They got huge equity. They've got a good interest rate. They've got a good job. They've got good income. They just had a kid, and now what are they going to do? They're going to sell that asset with all of that equity, and they're going to buy the next bigger house for their family. Demographics, okay? What stage of life? So look into your marketplace and go, oh, yeah, this stage of life, they do this. This stage of life, they do these for these reasons. Good, let's go to the next. Number 3 is geographic. And this is where you, the hyper-local expert, kicks in. Right? So you know the different communities inside of your, the neighborhoods inside of your community, inside of your zip code. And then number 3 or 4, there is a property type and property detail. So in this community over here, it was built in the early 2000s. So all of this kind of demographic bought it for these reasons. Now they're aged at this stage of their life, and now they're selling it for these reasons, and the next group is coming in. See, this is what we have to start recognizing if we're going to really be able to do marketing campaigns that speak directly to what that next seller in your community wants from you, wants advice, wants to learn how to do it. So let's keep going. So there's geographic, property types and details, right? And so the last thing, of course, is just market trends. So number 5, market trends. So different market trends are happening right now. We've had the big COVID craziness. So maybe there's some market trends. So there's a reason why with this exact demographic in this geographic territory that has this type of property and they need that type of property. And because of what's going on in the market, because of the equity position, because of the low interest rate, they are able to do this move for inside of your community and or out of your area. Next, let's talk about how to find the high probability seller in your marketplace. And then the tool that you can go communicate with them right now with your great marketing message specifically to them. So here's what I'm excited about. Some of you know that I've created this relationship with the company Property Radar. Now, they just rolled out nationally, so this is amazing for all of my friends across the United States. But when I started digging in with these guys, it was for the first time as a real estate professional, I got a tool set that I can look, as the hyperlocal expert can go, I know why people are doing this. I know the demographic of the people that are doing this and why they're doing it. I know where they're doing it, and I know what type of property they have, and I know some of the details around the market trend that I can track. With Property Radar, I can actually go put all of those things into the search engine, and then they'll give me a list of everyone that meets that criteria. Can you see why I created a relationship with them? So please use my link down below, right, with my coach PF at propertyradar.com, because if you sign up using my link, I'm going to share with you all of my marketing strategies on what we're going to do to be able to get those listings with that data set. So let's dig in a little bit on Property Radar. So here's an example of something that I did the other day. So I went in and I was like, hey, I know that there's all these younger families in San Diego County. They probably bought a condo, maybe a townhome, and they bought it between maybe 2010 and 2016. And they probably have about 40% equity. Yeah, 40% equity, right? That's a lot of equity because the average condo in San Diego is about $600,000 right now. And the average townhome is about $700,000. And if they bought it a while back, they probably bought it at maybe $300,000 or maybe $400,000. So they got a lot of equity. Now, wait a minute. Do they have kids? Yes, they do probably have kids. Oh, ding, 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 put that in. Wait a minute. So they've got this age bracket also. So they got this age bracket, they've got kids, they own a townhome condo, and they've got about 40% equity. Can I pull that up in Property Radar right now? Yes, I can. When I pulled that up, I was like, whoa, there's 3,000 of them. 3,000 of them. And then I was like, wait a minute. What I really want is I want the ones with a phone number and or an email address that's identified. Oh, can I do that? Yes, I can. Wait a minute. I just found that there is 1,249 with the owner with an identified phone number and email that matches this criteria. Oh. So if I have email and phone number with all of this data set, could I now figure out how to market and to communicate with that specific audience and give them the solution of what they're going to do probably in this next 12 months? The answer is yes. See, when I realized that I can get the reason why these guys were going to do this, I realized the demographic, I realized where they are, I realized what type of property they have with the equity position that they have, with the market trends of what's going on, the equity and the lower interest rate. I now have a high probability seller who also is probably going to buy a more expensive house in my community. And I have all of the data that I need to run a great marketing campaign. So, can you see that this is going to be a lot of fun in 2021? If you use my link in the Property Radar down below in the description, propertyradar.com/coachpf, if you use that link, then I will share with you some of the additional marketing strategies, some of the additional high probability sellers that I'm looking at today. But for all my top agent friends right now, if you just write that list down and you start looking at your trends and you use a Property Radar to go find those different ways to communicate with them, you're going to crush it in 2020-21. You're welcome. Let me know how I can help you, and let's have some fun.